Hey.
So smooth.
Hey,
You've reached Kimberly's voicemail. She's not here at the moment. Leave your name and number and we'll get back to you.
Okay, let's try that again. Hi everybody, you're tuned in to All the Things. I'm Kimberly, aka Korean Gold, and of course we have...
I'm Hannah, aka Uma Hannah, which, by the way, anybody who was wondering, Uma means baby mama in Korean.
But it doesn't have a negative connotation. It's like badge of honor.
Right.
Badge
It
of
literally
honor.
means like mama of a baby. But,
And I'm Hannah, also Chef Hannah May, aka if you go to any of my pages, I just make you hungry.
Oh my gosh. And for those of you who are not who are not watching, Hannah literally has pumpkins on her shirt, which
Yeah.
makes us want
Pumpkins.
everything.
Pumpkin everything. I will be teaching a ton of stuff about pumpkins because I don't have an obsession at all. But we have a special guest, and I'm so excited for you to meet her.
Hi, my name's Aeryn. I don't have a cool, awesome nickname yet.
those are our Instagram handles.
Oh well, mine's boring. It's literally just my first dot last name, but whatever. Aaron.Lamar. Go find it. It's got some cute little artsy things for Inktober. Yeah.
And we're in sync. We'll work on that.
And it's Aeryn, the original spelling.
Yeah, if you don't know what that is, go look it up, learn some history, learn some etymology. You're welcome.
Yeah, that word, etymology.
Not edamame.
For anybody who doesn't know, it's Aeryn, okay?
Yeah, that's what she said. So,
Good save for us.
okay, so we have been in the studio for literally an hour.
Are you serious right
Dang
now?
it. You
Well-
know, the lips are even emotional.
Yeah. We have been in the studio. The lips just fell down for those of you who are listening and not watching. But we have been in the studio for literally like an hour and a half, almost 2 hours, because we have been kind of sort of avoiding recording this podcast.
We've been
'cause
procrastinating.
it's a heavy one. It's a doozy. So today, okay, my heart's not ready. Today we're talking about pregnancy and infant loss because it is Pregnancy and Infant Loss Awareness Month for October.
And day.
And October 17th,
15.
17th, shout out to DJ Byrne, that's your birthday. That's why I'm always gonna say the 17th.
2 days before.
October 15th is Pregnancy and Infant Loss Awareness
Remembrance Day.
Remembrance
That's why
Day.
she's here.
Woo, yes, this is why she's here. We got a subject matter expert on board.
Also known as a SME for you military folks.
So today is pretty heavy. Want to trauma warning, trigger warning. How do you say that?
Trigger warning.
Trigger warning. This is a heavy episode.
There are going to be some tears. There's going to be some. We honestly might have to walk out of the room. And for anybody listening, we're going to let you know if somebody leaves the room. But it's going to be heavy on all of us. We've all got stacks of tissues in front of us. We're ready to go.
We've cried today getting ready for the podcast. We've cried as we've prepared the weeks leading up to the podcast.
Hannah's already getting ready
You
to face for everyone
I'm
listening.
Not emotional.
So in case y'all want to know who the crybaby is of the group, that would be the chef.
And we are.
We love you for it. You cry because
Yeah.
you feel for people.
I do.
We have people in this group who have been personally impacted with loss, and we have people who have direct impact through people that they love who have lost. So we all have been impacted by this one way or the other, and we really want to talk about it because we noticed the common denominator is that it impacted everyone, and a lot of us have been silent about it, and we suffered in silence. And that's not okay. We're not doing that anymore. We're gonna have this conversation. as uncomfortable as it is, and we want you to have it with us. We want you to listen in. If you need to pause and play later and get some tissue, please do. But just know that this is going to be a deep, kind of tough conversation. Kind of mentally brace yourself and prepare for that.
Definitely. So I have an amazing friend that I went to Air Crew candidate school with. She was my roommate while we were going through tech school, and this girl is just like a beacon of light. And so Tiffany, she's amazing. Like, I told these guys stories about Tiffany like before they even got the chance to like meet her.
All the stories.
And so they were like, "Oh, you're Tiffany."
That's Tiffany. Okay.
So,
We now have a face.
like, my parents adopted her like when they came to visit. Like, we just family. And then the disadvantage is the military. When you move, you like lose contact with people. So like the max you do is like Facebook stalking and liking photos, and you're just like, "Oh, love your face," and you randomly message each other. But that's a max of those relationships, because every 2 to 3 years you're on to the next like adventure. And so Tiffany, being a person that I Facebook stalk, hi, my name's Hannah. Online. But Tiff lost a little guy to SIDS. And so being on the outside of it, you can't ask questions and ask how to support her, because you're so worried that you're just gonna bring like that trauma right back up again. And so when we started talking about what we were doing for this, I was like, I want to include Tiffany. I want to get her side of things, because as an outside person looking in and seeing pictures of this new beautiful baby and being so excited for my friend, like, "Oh, he's so cute," and then the picture stopped. And so it was, how do I ask about him? How do I not go like, "Hey, just being nosy," because it's rude.
Yeah, you can't just be like, "Hey girl, hey, where's the baby?"
Right?
You know, like,
And she's just struggling herself. And so it went to the wayside, and I like don't feel like I was a strong person for her for that, but I didn't know how to be. And so I want this conversation, and what like Tiffany tells us, I'm like, how the heck do you support those friends, and like what do they really need? Because we need to be there for people. So you guys get to see an awesome video from Tiff. Excuse my ugly crying in the background. And
For anybody watching, you're gonna get to see her video, and for anybody listening, we're gonna have the video playing. Hopefully you can hear it. Here we go.
Hi, I'm Tiffany. I lost my son when he was 7 weeks old. My husband had left for deployment when I was 14 weeks pregnant. He came home when our son Blake was 6 weeks old, and then we lost him a week later. It was a very trying time on our relationship, on our marriage, with our friends and family. I found what I needed from my friends and family through this time was understanding. Sometimes I wanted to just pretend nothing happened for a minute and just try to live in the moment and not think about it and not cry, because you get exhausted and you just can't cry anymore. There's no tears left. Sometimes I just need people to cry with me, or listen to me talk, or let me say his name. I needed people to let me be as open or as enclosed as I needed to be without pushing me or shying away from me when I talked. I learned that a lot of friendships can't withstand something like this. People don't know how to talk to you or how to handle it, so they kind of just close off and they disappear. And that happens not only with losing a child like this, but people with miscarriages, this happens to. I mean, when you lose a parent, this happens to people. I don't know what it is, but I feel that's like the time that people should be coming together. And I found that the strangest friendships formed through it. People that I never ever thought that would be there for me were people I thought that would be my best buds through it were gone. It was insane. So my advice is, if you know somebody that's been through something like this, that just treat them like they're normal, you know. If they're about saying their baby's name or talking about it, talk with them like it's normal, like nothing, like it's not weird. That was a big thing for me, because I like to say my son's name. I like to say Blake, and I like to talk to him. I talk about him by using his name, and that really weirded people out at first. Something that someone said to me out of kindness that hurt my feelings, and this has actually happened to other people that I've talked to, is everything happens for a reason. And yes, that is typically a very comforting thing, but if you're telling me that there's a reason that I lost my child, what are you saying? Like, are you saying that I was a bad parent and I deserved it? Or this will make me stronger in the long run? Because I don't care to hear that. Like, all I care is that I now am missing somebody in my life, you know? So you really have to try to figure out how people are receptive to those kind of things, because those things, even though they don't intend to be hurtful, they can be extremely hurtful when someone is still so very fresh in those feelings. And I personally grieved through a lot of anger. There was a lot of drinking and fighting with my husband. We were in a very, very place. We could refer it to our dark days. Very, very bad, unhealthy grieving. And it was right in the beginning of our marriage. And we are stronger for it that we made it through that kind of thing. Now, I allow myself time to grieve. I give myself what I need, the time I need, and all that. I have people I can talk to and reach out to. There's support groups on Facebook and stuff that are really great. I know that when I'm in those feelings that I probably shouldn't be drinking or anything like that. That just makes it so much worse. Me and my husband learned to not take our feelings out on each other. But in the very beginning, we kind of needed that because we were angry. We were mad. So we had each other and we beat each other up about it. But he was there for me and I was there for him. And our marriage is so much stronger for surviving through that. What I want people to know that haven't been through something like this is, first of all, it sucks. It sucks really bad. It also sucks that in this society we live in that you can't really talk about it. And everybody will say, oh, you can talk about it. You can talk about it. When I say my son's name in front of people, people clam up a little bit or get weird. But I mean, I talk about him because it's part of my life. He is my son, and that should be okay. It should be okay that I say, oh yeah, I remember when I was pregnant with Blake, or, you know, oh, when I went through labor with Blake, or, you know, oh, that first week home with Blake, you know, that should be okay. It shouldn't make people weird. I wish we lived in a world where that didn't make people weird. And then coming back to work or going back into your normal life after, it's not normal, going back into your new life with your new self after surviving this, is a daily challenge to put your foot in front of the other, to be okay. So if you know somebody that has dealt with a miscarriage or infant loss or anything, infertility even, anything with babies, be understanding. You know, like, these people, we are trying our best, but it's just the outer shell. Our insides are just scrambled up and a wreck. It's hard. So give us that time. If we say that there's just something we can't handle, it's not us just trying to use our grief to get out of something. And that's something that people thought when I went back to work, that I was just trying to get out of stuff because I could, because I had feelings now about something or whatever. And that's not true. That's not true at all. They wanted me to do suicide training in the same chapel on base that I held my son's memorial in. And they were like acting like my feelings were invalid and I was just using it to get out of training, when really, like, I couldn't bear to think about sitting where I sat with my son's memorial doing suicide training, when my life is in a whirlwind, you know, and I'm trying to keep my head above water. Be kind and understanding. It sucks a lot. I pray to God that you don't ever have to deal with it, or know somebody close that has to deal with it. But if you do, maybe it'll open up your eyes. This sucks. I also want to say, if you are dealing with something like this and you're going down an unhealthy road, like I myself did with drinking, anger and all those things, reach out to me, reach out to the hundreds of Facebook groups that have really supportive women. Any of the women talking on this podcast, like, reach out. Don't stop talking because people make you feel uncomfortable. Make posts on Facebook. Make people understand that this is normal for you, that from now on you are going to talk about your loss, that you're going to be open about it. Desensitize them to this sensitive subject that people make you feel like you can't talk about. Don't let them shut you down and make you hide your feelings, because that's not fair. That's not healthy. It is healthy to express it, to do memorials, to do whatever you have to do to make you feel better. Not anybody else. It's about you and your feelings and your loss and your very real loss of the child that you were supposed to have. This whole thing of hopes and dreams that you were supposed to have, that you no longer have.
I almost made it through that whole thing.
Goodness.
Thanks for sharing, Tiffany.
Yes, thank you.
So we're gonna edit out the next few seconds. Oh.
I want to like reach over and hold your hand, but I was like,
I know, I
Anyway,
couldn't know what I could be like.
half of it was that I have this stupid Korean head cold, and half of it is that I know how strong Tiff is and how like amazing she is, and she says what everyone else is thinking. Let people grieve. Let people grieve how they need to grieve. If they're not ready to have a memorial for that baby, family, do not force these people to have a memorial for that baby.
well, if they want to have a private one at home and not include anyone else, then that's their prerogative. Like, that's their child, that's their grief. Get out of their face, let them deal with it how they're going to deal with it. Like, I don't care if you're the grandma, I don't care if you're the grandpa, I don't care if you're the second uncle twice removed. I don't care if you're just the best friend. I don't care who you are. If you're not the person who was going to raise that child, was going to look after that child, if you're not the person that made that child, shut up.
Yeah.
Just shut up. It's not your anything. Like, you can grieve if you were related to that kid. You can grieve on your own, in your own way. Like, other people than the parents are going to be touched by it, but you don't get to dictate how anyone else grieves, especially the parents.
Yeah, and what she said about the chapel, and for those who aren't military affiliated, a chapel is a building where we hold all of our church services, regardless of, like, so you could have Catholic services, you could have Muslim services, you could have Protestant, whatever, like just all the services. And and also non-services like suicide prevention trainings and, you know, just different briefings, and that, you know, people thought she's trying to get out of a training because, you know, just to get out of a training, when I can't fathom the thought of having to sit in a training that's in the chapel where I had the memorial of my child. I can't. Like, even if it was 10 years later, I couldn't.
I don't think I could.
And it makes me sad to say that's so military.
Oh yeah.
That is so military. The you need to be resilient. We're not using that word resilient right.
Yeah.
Like, resiliency it's your own ability to cope, and it's your own ability to push through. somebody else telling you that you need to be resilient or that you need to do this because it's a requirement.
Yeah.
Give me.
Because resiliency for Tiff that day was knowing that she could not
Yeah.
be in that chapel for that training.
Right.
Right.
Hey, you know, I'm going to find you the slides and I'm going to get you that exact same training. We will get your name on that training. You will be informed on what the newest suicide prevention is, but I am not going to make you sit in one of those pews.
And shame on whoever was her command. I don't know what branch she was in.
We're Navy, baby.
Oh, duh, I knew that. I knew that. So I don't know what your word for commander is. Like,
It would probably be closer to like a shop chief.
Yeah, it was
or-
probably closer to her direct supervisor.
Yeah.
whoever it was, shame on them for not taking the initiative and being like, oh, I know enough about my
Sailor.
yep. Sorry. Been around the Air Force and Army way too long. To know that she is grieving. She had her son's memorial in that church or chapel, so she probably won't want to go there. And if she was by chance okay with it, then she could have spoke up and said, you know what, I am okay. But at least that person had the initiative to recognize that she went through something.
Yeah, that would have been a great leadership moment to be
Oh,
like,
yeah.
hey Tiff, or I wouldn't call her Tiff, like, call her
Right,
last
right.
name, but hey Tiff,
Yeah.
you know, this is happening. Are you okay with it? Yes, no. No, I'm not. Okay, well, we've got alternative
Right, yeah.
ABC.
Right. Thanks for tuning in to part 1 of our pregnancy and infant loss episode. Stay tuned for the rest of the week to see the rest of the episode. Thanks, guys.
I want to make an amazing shout out to Tiffany. Thanks for letting me call you in the middle of the night, and thank you so much for sharing your story. You are such a strong and powerful mom, and I promise to continue to Facebook stalk you.
And you have 3 new best friends.
Yes! So, next time we're all back in the States or somewhere fun where we can do a girls' trip.
Definitely.
Yes,
Have
so
to
we
get
can
there.
talk about entry control points.